Welcome back. Welcome back. Shout out to my new subscribers. Appreciate you. We back on our book club reading 48 Laws of Power, Law 13, which is when asking for help, appeal to people's self interest, never to their mercy or gratitude. And it's a really short chapter. I'm so glad these chapters, these laws have been short. This law emphasizes that to get help, one must show others how cooperating with the request benefits them personally, rather than relying on past favors or a sense of obligation. People are primarily motivated by their own needs and goals, so understanding and appealing to their self interest is a more effective and powerful strategy for achieving your objectives. So number one seems focus on other people's needs instead of your own. Instead of detailing your own troubles or favors you've done, don't remind them of what you've done to them if you need help. Put yourself in their shoes to understand their motivations and what they stand to gain by helping you. Clearly articulate the benefits the other person will receive by helping you, such as financial gain, increased reputation, or alignment with their goals. Avoid appealing to emotion. Don't expect people to act out of pity or thanks for past actions. This is a weak approach that often leads to disappointment. Damn, I never thought about that. Leverage self interest. Self interest is the most powerful motivator. By identifying and appealing to it, you can make your request much more appealing and increase your chances of success. Wow. How to apply the law. Understand the other person. Research their needs, ambitions, or existing goals. Frame your request. Present your need not as a burden on them, but as an opportunity for them to achieve something that matters to them. Damn, I never thought about it like that. Highlight the value. Emphasize how fulfilling your request would advance their cause or satisfy their needs. Be strategic. Tailor your approach to the individual, recognizing that different people are motivated by different forms of self interest, such as greed, reputation, or ambition. That is a fact. So, this is our book, 48 Laws of Power. So, let's get into it. In the early 14th century, a young man named Cassio Castracani, Italian, rose from the rank of common soldier to become lord of the great city of Lucca, Italy. I said Italian, didn't I? One of the most powerful families in the city. The Paganists had been instrumental in his climb, but after he came to power, they came to feel he had forgotten them. His ambition outweighed any gratitude he felt. In 1325, while Cassio was away fighting, Luca's main rival, Florence, the Pegasus conspired with other noble families in the city to rid themselves of this troublesome and ambitious prince. Mounting an insurrection, the plotters attacked and murdered the governor whom Cassio had left behind to rule the city. Riots broke out, and the Cassio supporters and Pogo supporters were poised to the battle. At the height of the tension, however, Stefano di Poggio, the oldest member of the family, intervened and made both sides lay down their arms. A peaceful man, Stefano had not taken part in this conspiracy. He had told his family it would end in a useless bloodbath. Now he insisted he should intercede on the family's behalf and persuade Cassio to listen to their complaints and satisfy their needs. Stefano was the oldest and wisest member of the clan, and his family agreed to put their trust in his diplomacy rather than in their weapons. When news of the rebellion reached Cassio, he hurried back to Lucca. By the time he arrived, however, the fighting had ceased, though Stefano's agency, and he was surprised by the city's calm and peace. You hear? Okay, okay, therapy, thank you. Stefano had imagined that Cassio would be grateful to him for his part in quelling the rebellion, so he paid the Prince a visit. He explained how he brought peace and begged for Cassio's mercy. He said that rebels in his family were young and impetuous, hungry for power yet inexperienced. He recalled his family's past generosity to Cassio. For all these reasons, he said the great prince should pardon the Parthians and listen to their complaints. Then this, he said, was the only thing to do since the family had willingly laid down their arms and had always supported him. Cassio listened patiently. He seemed not the slightest bit angry or resentful. Instead, he told Stefano to rest assured that justice would prevail, and he asked him to bring his entire family to the palace to talk over their grievances and come to agreement. As they took leave of one another, Cassius said he thanked God for the chance he had been given to show his clemency and his kindness. That evening, the entire Poggio family came to the palace. Cassio immediately had them imprisoned, and a few days later, all were executed, including Stefano. Wow. He unalive all of them. Stefano is the embodiment of all those who believe that the justice and nobility of their cause will prevail. Certainly, appeals to justice and gratitude have occasionally succeeded in the past, but more often than not, they had dire consequences, especially in dealing with the Cassios of the world. Stefano knew that the prince had risen to power through treachery and ruthlessness. This was a man, after all, who had put a close and devoted friend to death. So now, if you know that he put his closest friend to death, you don't stand a chance. This is a man, after all, who had put a close and devoted friend to death. When Cassio was told that it had been a terribly wrong to kill such an old friend, he replied that he had executed not an old friend but a new enemy. Damn, that's ruthless, ain't it? Oh, that's ruthless. A man like Cassio, right, right. Wow. A man like Cassio knows only force and self interest. Sound like my daddy. When the rebellion began to end it and place oneself at his mercy was the most dangerous possible move. Even once Stefano had made that fatal mistake, however, he still had options. He could have offered money to Cassio, could have made promises for the future, could have pointed out what Pogasus could still contribute to Cassio's power. Their influence with the most influential families of Rome, for example, and the great marriage that could have been brokered. Instead, Stefano brought up the past, and that said carried no obligation. Not only is a man not obligated to be grateful, gratitude is often a terrible burden that he gladly discards. Damn, that's good. I'm going to read that again. Gratitude is often a terrible burden that he gladly disregards. Wow. And in this case, Cassio rid himself of his obligations to the Pogios by eliminating all of them. Damn, that's some hardcore stuff right there. Okay, we only got a couple more pages. This law is done. In 433 BC, just ahead of the Polynesian War, the island of Corpora, later called Corfu, and the Greek city of Corinth stood on the brink of conflict. Both parties sent ambassadors to Athens to try to win over the Athenians to their side. The stakes were high since whoever had Athens on the side was sure to win, and whoever won the war would certainly give the defeated side no mercy. Corcyra spoke first. Its ambassador began by admitting that the island had never helped Athens before, and in fact had allied itself with Athens' enemies. There was no ties of friendship or gratitude between Corcyra and Athens. Yes, the ambassador admitted he had come to Athens not out of fear and concern for Corcyra's safety. The only thing he could offer was an alliance of mutual interest. Corker had a navy only surpassed in size and strength by Athens' own. An alliance between the two states would create a formidable force that could intimidate the rival state of Sparta. That unfortunately was all Corsica had to offer. The representative from Corinth then gave a brilliant, passionate speech. He talked of everything Cortez had done for Athens in the past. He asked how it would look to Athens' other allies if the city put an agreement with a former enemy over one with a present friend, one that had served Athens' loyalty. Perhaps those allies would break their agreements with Athens if they saw their loyalty was not valued. He referred to the Hellenic law and the need to repay Corinth for all its deeds. He finally went on the list the many services Corinth had performed for Athens and the importance of showing gratitude to one's friends. Destroy meaning mind, body, and soul. That's a fact. After the speech, the Athenians debate the issue in an assembly. History had remembered that the Athenians nobly, but they were the preemptive realists of classical Greece. With them, all the rhetoric and all the emotional appeals in the world could not match a good pragmatic argument, especially one that added to their power. When the Corinthian ambassador did not realize was that his reference to Corinth's past generosity to Athens only irritated the Athenians. Wow. Subtly asking them to feel guilty, putting them under obligation. The Athenians couldn't care less about past favors and friendly feelings. At the same time, they knew that if they other allies thought them ungrateful for abandoning Corinth, these city-states would still be unlikely to break their allegiance to Athens, the preeminent power in Greece. Athens ruled its empire by force and would simply compel any rebellious ally to return to the fold. When people choose between talk about the past and talk about the future, a pragmatic person will always opt for the future and forget the past. Damn, that is so true. That is so true. Right. Oh my God. Well, Now, in your quest for power, you will constantly find yourself in a position of asking for help from those who are more powerful than you. There's an art to asking for help, an art that depends on your ability to understand the person you are dealing with and not to confuse your needs with theirs. Most people never succeed at this because they are completely trapped in their own wants and desires. That's where I've been going wrong. I done learned me something today when I asked my daddy for this money. Damn. I'm gonna just say I'm gonna have to pay you back with interest because he greedy as hell. I'll pay you back with interest, which is something I never would have said. Mm. They start from the assumptions that the people that they are appealing to have a selfless interest in helping them. They talk as if their needs matter to these people who probably couldn't care less. That is so true because when you need help, they don't give a damn. Therapy? I done learned me something. Sometimes they refer to a larger issues, a great cause, or grand emotions such as love and gratitude, because my daddy could care less about love. They go for the big picture when simple. Everyday realities will have much more appeal. What they do not realize is that even the most powerful person is locked inside needs of their own, and that if you make no appeal to their self interest, he merely sees you as desperate or at best a waste of time. Well, I'll be. I never looked at it like that. That is, damn. Mm, wow. Oh, we only got one more page and we done with this chapter. I wonder, should I do it? Yeah, I'm gonna do the prophetic word. I'm gonna get a little religious after this one. Just a little prophetic word 2025. And then I'm done. Okay, one more page. In the 16th century, Portuguese missionaries tried for years to convert the people of Japan to Catholicism, while at the same time Portugal had a monopoly on trade between Japan and Europe. Although the missionaries did have some success, they never got far among the ruling elite. By the beginning of the seventh century, in fact, they had completely antagonized the Japanese emperor. When the Dutch began to arrive in Japan in great numbers, the emperor was relieved. He needed Europeans for their know how in guns and navigation, and here at last were Europeans who cared nothing for spreading religion. The, just, the Dutch just wanted trade. The emperor swiftly moved to evict the Portuguese. From then on, he would only deal with the practical minded Dutch. I learned that when I was going through court and fought their ass. Now the mom about to be in jail thinking it's a game, and I learned it early in life before. Okay, okay. Japan and Holland were vastly different cultures, but each shared a timeless and universal concern, self interest. Every person you deal with is like another culture, an alien land with a past that has nothing to do with yours. Yet you can bypass the differences between you and him by appealing to his self interest. Do not be subtle. You have valuable knowledge to share. You will fill his coffers with gold. You will make him live longer and happier. This is the language that all of us speak and understand. Damn, do y'all realize how good this is? A key step in the process is to understand the other person psychologically. Is he vain? Hell yeah, my daddy vain. Is he concerned about his reputation or social standing? No, he don't give a damn. Does he have enemies you could help him vanquish? His own family don't like his cheap ass. No. Is he simply motivated by money and power? Absolutely. When the Mongols invaded China in the 20th century, they threatened to ob- obliterate a culture that had thrived for over 2,000 years. Their leader, Genghis Khan, he was the most ruthless leader. Oh my God, Genghis Khan saw nothing in China but a country that lacked passion for his horses, and he decided to destroy the place, leveling all its cities, for it would be better to exterminate the Chinese than let the grass grow. It was not a soldier, a general, or king who saved the Chinese from devastation, but a man named Yella Tusu, a foreigner himself, had come to appreciate the superiority of Chinese culture. He managed to make himself a trusted advisor to Genghis Khan and persuaded him that he would reap riches out of the place if instead of destroying it, he simply taxed everyone who lived there. Khan saw the wisdom in this and did as she advised. When Khan took the city of Cathay after a long siege and decided to massacre its inhabitants, she told him that the finest craftsmen and engineers in China had fled to Cathay and it would be better to put them to use. Cathay was spared. Never before had Genghis Khan shown such mercy, but then it really was a mercy that saved Cathay. Chu knew Khan well. He was a barbaric peasant. Yes, he was, who cared nothing for culture or indeed for anything other than warfare and practical results. She chose to appeal to the only emotion that would work on such a man, greed. That's my damn daddy. I'm gonna have to tell him I'll pay it back in interest. Damn. Self interest is the lever that will move people. Once you make them see how you can in some way meet their needs or advance their cause, their resistance to your request for help will magically fall away. At each step on the way to acquiring power, you must train yourself to think your way inside the person's head, to see their needs and interests, to get rid of the screen of your own feelings that obscure the truth. Master this art, and there will be no limits to what you can accomplish. Wow. Wow. This is the last paragraph. Some people would see an appeal to their self interest as ugly and ignoble. They actually prefer to be able to exercise charity, mercy, and justice, which are their ways of feeling superior to you. When you beg them for help, you emphasize their power and position. That's a fact. Now, that's true. They are strong enough to need nothing from you except a chance to feel superior. Damn, that's good. This is the wine that intoxicates them. They are dying to fund your project, to introduce you to powerful people, provided, of course, that all this is done in public and for a good cause. Not everyone then can be approached through cynical self interest. Some people will be put off by it because they don't want to seem to be motivated by such things. They need opportunities to display their good heart. Do not be shy. Give them the opportunity. It's not as if you are cunning them by asking for help. It is really their pleasure to give and to be seen giving. You must distinguish the differences between powerful people and figure out what makes them tick. When they ooze greed, do not appeal to their charity. When they want to look charitable or noble, do not appeal to their greed. I'm going to read that one last time. That shit, wow. When they ooze greed, do not appeal to their charity. When they want to look charitable and noble, do not appeal to their greed. God, that's the end of Law 13. Damn, I can go to sleep on that. That is good. Mm. I never showed weakness and understood a favor for a favor, but I knew asking for a favor, I would get them to owe me a favor. Damn, that was good. Like, share, subscribe, leave a comment. That was good, short, and sweet. I love this book, 48 Laws Apart. It's only one chapter I disagree with. That was good. So I got to be strategic when I hit my daddy for this money. Like, share, subscribe, hit that like button. All right. I'm gonna come right back. I'm getting religious. I'm gonna do prophetic word 2025, and then I'm gonna be done because this gotta be short. I gotta go to bed.